Welcome to the weekly Islam Awakened Quran study class and halaqah. We have changed the schedule. We will be having the second half of Kafir after this week, not this week. This week we will be speaking on the subject of ṣirāṭ. We're going to open as always with Al-Fatiha. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim, Maliki Yawmiddin, Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in, Ihdina ṣirāṭal mustaqīm, ṣirāṭal ladzīna an'amta 'alayhim, ghayril maghḍūbi 'alayhim waladdallīn.
Ameen.
I'll turn it over to Farouk, and he can lead the class because he's the guy with the knowledge right now. Hopefully, we will have some more of it when we're done. Thank you all.
Assalamu alaikum. Peace be upon you, everyone. Welcome back to Q40. This is now week 20, I guess, because we will be discussing ṣirāṭ rather than kafir, as Walid said. And that's actually the word Walid just recited in Fatiha, right? So you can tell that it's a key concept. It is in Fatiha itself. So usually this word ṣirāṭ al-mustaqim, that's the usual phrase used. It's translated as straight path. But if you look at ancient Arabic resources, the word ṣirāṭ by itself is already straight path. It's something which is the shortest possible distance between 2 points, which mathematically speaking is a straight line. So mustaqim, that begs the question, what is mustaqim, right? Mustaqim coming from the word istiqama, which means to seek to arrive at a standing position. So this ṣirāṭ al-mustaqim, is the shortest possible way for us to arrive at a standing position, a position of stability, independence, and a position of strength. And that is essentially what the Quran does for us. So we, I didn't think about this before as well. When I read Fatiha, it didn't occur to me that the only word, or rather the only noun, which is repeated in Fatiha is the word ṣirāṭ. No other noun is repeated. So I thought that was very interesting, because as you can see in verse 6 it says اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. Right? So the word ṣirāṭ appears twice. Why is that the case? I believe that after we get the fundamental awareness of what Fatiha puts forward for us, we are supposed to take it to the ṣirāṭ. We are supposed to act on it and get to that shortest possible distance to the goal. And I think that's a very powerful idea to have about the Quranic text. The Quranic text is meant for application rather than theology, which leads nowhere. So this word ṣirāṭ should be contrasted with the word sabil. With Zishan's approval, we may do sabil at some point in the future, but sabil, it has no straight connotation to it. It's a path, whereas ṣirāṭ is a straight path. So imagine you have the conceptual straight line. You know, in mathematics, if you draw a straight line, it's considered a straight line. But if you draw a straight line on the earth, it's not a straight line, because on the earth it's always a curve, because the earth is a sphere. So to me, that's how I envision Sirat and Sabil. I see Sirat as the conceptual straight line, and Sabil as the line which is realized. So when we realize the path, it will never be straight because we are human beings and we have shortcomings in our activities. Now, what ayah can I use to illustrate this? If you go to verse chapter 6, verse 153, which is row 13 of the notes, it says, وَأَنَّ هَذَا صِرَاطِي مُسْتَقِيمًا. Verily, this is my sirat. I won't translate sirat yet, which is mustaqim. It puts you on your feet. It establishes you. فَاتَّبِعُوهُ. So follow it. And now listen to this. وَلَا تَتَّبِعُوا السُّبُولِ. And do not follow other paths. Subul, not sirat, Subul. Why? Because when you interact with it, it becomes something interactive. It's no longer a conceptual thing. So um, I think this is very indicative of the Quran's technical vocabulary. And once we pay attention to this vocabulary, we will really start to see the conceptual power of Quran. So I can pause here for your discussion.
Brother, how do you derive the meaning straight from the ṣirāṭ? So I thought ṣirāṭ was just a path. Basically, it could be curved, it could be straight, it could be any. And subul
Okay.
to me was, I think the way I have understood it personally is the way rather than path. Way, way of Allah, fi sabilillah, in the way of Allah, right? But Sirat Mustaqim, when I was a little kid, my teacher told me Khate Mustaqim, straight line. So straight line, and then he defined what is a straight line, is that the two ends do not meet at all. I mean, they start from one, and the shortest distance between 2 points is Mustaqim, Khate Mustaqim. So I always understood it. Sarat Mustaqim means just a straight path. Uh, so my question is, how do we derive straightness from the word Sirat from the Arabic point of view?
Okay. So the dictionary which I'm quoting from is a translation of the Taj al-Urus, which is a rather famous old Arabic dictionary. It says Sirat is often read uh, as Sirat, and it means to swallow something without chewing. So it's straight. It goes straight down, and it's also a long sword which cuts anything it falls on. So in other words, it's just straight. There is no breaking in the trajectory. So that's Taj's understanding of it, and I think it makes sense. And also the word mustaqim, I don't see how it means straight because iqama is to be standing. So
That's one meaning, but mustaqim, khatay mustaqim is very common in Arabic. It's like a straight line. Khat means line, right? So straight line, the
right.
shortest distance between 2 points. And I mean, okay, but even the gut, esophagus, you see, when we put something in the mouth, it is also curved. It's not really, it doesn't go to straight into the stomach, but it has a curve as well. Similarly, you mentioned the other thing, brother. What did you mention? What was the other example that you gave me?
It means a sword which cuts
A sword.
everything
So
it
sword
falls
can
on.
be
Yeah.
curved as
So
well. Sword can be straight. Sword can be curved as well.
no,
Uh,
it's not the sword which is straight. It is the sword that cuts straight. So let's say you drop the sword, it cuts without any kind of change in its movement. You see, it's like when people hold a sword and then they drop a piece of cloth and the cloth just falls without any kind of lag. That's what it means, and that's why it's derived as a straight path.
okay.
But in any case, what you were saying about way and path, if you look at chapter 6, verse 153, it actually puts together the word ṣirāṭ and sabil. So ṣirāṭ there is, I would say it's conceptual because it's ṣirāṭi, it's Allah's, and subul, plural of sabil, is ours. So maybe you want to have a look at that, I don't know.
Yeah, my understanding was 153. I know that by heart. So sobol is the plural of sabil. So I just take it as ways of Allah, ways of other. Don't follow other ways. And over there, Sirati Mustaqim, I think that together they makes the straight line. But that's my understanding. I might be wrong.
Yeah, same here, same here. I'm just giving you the best of my understanding. Thank you, Abdul Folk. Anyone else care to comment? Linda's here as well. Salam, Linda.
Assalamu alaikum, everybody.
Wa alaikum salam.
Wa alaikum salam. Any comments, folks?
I suppose I have a comment. So, Brother Farouk, are you saying that mustaqim does not mean straight in Arabic?
I believe. Okay, so I mean the root is in the word is in the istaf'al form, which means that it is seeking to something. It's not
Seeking.
there. So
Okay.
yeah. So mustaqim.
Yeah. Oh, at least okay. I just looked up the roots because I remember knowing or being taught that mustaqim means the straight. Like that is what they translate to straight. And then ṣirāṭ is the path. So if mustaqim is not straight, well, anyway, so then I looked up the roots because I never looked up the roots. And it says it's the qaf, waw, mim. So qum, and qum means like to rise. And then it is connected to qiyam and istiqama, which is also iqama, which is are we getting the
So if you look at chapter
words?
41, verse 33, please, Khadija.
14:33.
No, 41. Fussilat 33.
41:33. Okay.
Yes, please.
Can I interrupt real quick?
Oh,
Hey,
please,
Greg,
yes.
can you please put the Zoom link?
No, 30.
For
30, not 33. Sorry. Yes, sorry. Say it. Yes, sorry. Oh my gosh, I got it wrong again.
Can you all hear me?
Yeah, we hear you say it. Hold on.
Oh
Brother Farouk, 1 second. Greg, can you put the
I'm
Zoom
working
link
on
the WhatsApp because some people are waiting?
I'm working
the
on
link.
it. 1 moment.
I can try as well.
Yeah.
So okay, it's chapter 41, verse 30. Inna alladhina qalu rabbuna Allah thumma
Found it.
istaqamu.
Yeah.
Sorry. Stand
Okay.
straight.
Yeah.
Then they stood straight. Yeah. So correct. So are you saying that is not correct? The correct terminology? That they did not stand straight?
No, I'm not saying they didn't stand straight. What I'm saying is I would translate that as those who say our Lord is Allah, then they sought to establish. You see, aqimu is to stand, a command, to stand. Now, you may say that, okay, well, if you're standing straight. Okay, but standing puts you in a stable position where you are established yourself on your feet.
You're stable.
So I will, the Quran uses iqama, aqimu, in very metaphorical ways as well. For example, chapter 42, verse 13, it says aqimuddin, establish the deen. Chapter 7, verse 29, aqimu wujuhakum bil qist, establish yourselves with justice. You see, so there are a few metaphorical uses of the term, which I think we need to take into account.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Farouk, this is Ejaz.
Hey, salam, bro.
Assalamu alaikum. How are you?
Salam. I'm good. How about yourself?
Good.
Welcome aboard.
Thank you. So Farouk, so what you are saying is that the straightness from this phrase, Sirātul Mustaqim, is it from Sirat or from Mustaqim?
No, the Sirat is the shortest distance between 2 points. So
Right.
it's the fastest, most efficient way of getting there. Mustaqim is to be in a state of being established.
Right. So Siratul
Right.
Mustaqim, it would mean established path.
Established shortest path, yes. I mean, path in
Established-
itself does not convey the straightness, you see. So
Hmm.
we need to convey both of them. I know it's not easy to translate. Word for
Right.
word, it's not easy to translate, but
Mm.
that's the meaning I'm trying to convey.
Okay. Okay. The second question is that this ayat, Siratul Lazina An'amta Alayhim Ghairil Maghzubi Alayhim Waladzaleen.
Mhm.
So how many groups of people do you see in this ayat? Is it 3 groups that normally people say? Or do you see
An'amta alayhim ghayril maghdubi. Well, yes, I see 3 categories, but I don't know about how many groups.
like
see,
3
because-
categories do you see here? Okay.
Three descriptions. So there's number one is the path which you have bestowed your bounties, speaking to Allah. Yeah. Number two, the same path has no anger upon it. Ghayril maghdubi alayhim. Right.
So the alayhim, does it indicate that these are the same group, or is it? Does it indicate that it's different?
The people who have this ni'mah, this bounties, they don't have anger upon them. Yes.
So it means that there are no 3 categories. Then 2 categories over here.
I wouldn't say categories. I believe that the grouping is different from the categorization. So the Dalleen, you're right, they are different, a different category, but they also represent a different description of people. Right? So I see what you mean though. The alayhim, the damir refers back to the alladhi, right? So I do see what you mean there, yeah.
This is also something some people translate it like that. So just wanted to see.
Well, some people translate it to be other main religious groups, right?
Yeah. Maghdub means Jews and Dalin means Christians, right?
Yeah, that's absurd.
I don't know how they get it. But
I don't know how they got that.
Right,
really, I don't.
But this is very commonly believed, In fact,
yes, that's true. That's true.
Commentaries that I have studied, they always mention that these two specifically mean these 2 groups. Anyway, I mean, but I have problems with the Fasir, major problems with the Fasir, actually. Anyway, it could be, I think it could be, the Fasir could be actually misleading.
Well,
do you have your hand raised? You'll have to unmute.
First of all, they just trivialize it. This ayah was revealed because of that particular incident. Well, what about so many other incidents that happen or will keep happening, in the future times? And it's just one specific something happened in Arab and it's like, and they trivialize it. It's because of that. It's because of that person. It's because of that person. Well, the name of that person is not mentioned in the Quran. It's just those ayat are applicable, applicable to all times. And to me, the meaning is pretty clear,
And they have to be, for the Quran to be relevant for humanity.
Right.
It has to be, But so anyway, that's Fatiha. Yeah. So this being a key concept in Fatiha, as was mentioned earlier, it's mentioned twice, and you can see the groups of people, the ones on whom God has bestowed His bounty, and that path has no anger upon it, and not the path of those who are astray. So they have been misled from this. Another thing which very ironically a Sunni scholar told me, he said that the word an'amta, you bestowed your bounty, is deeply personal. So it is you speaking to Allah, right? And you are saying to Allah, you have bestowed your bounty. Whereas the word maghdub for anger and dallin for those astray, both are using rather distant language. So that implies that the sirat, the straight path of Allah, is something which is very intimate to Allah. And indeed, we will see in a verse there, Allah says He is on the Sirat al-Mustaqim. So I think that's particularly powerful. So I have broken down the phraseologies of this phrase Sirat al-Mustaqim to a few categories. The three main ones are ila siratim mustaqim, towards the straight path or the straight and establishing path, etc. Another one is ala siratim mustaqim, upon the sirat al-mustaqim, and the third one is hada siratim mustaqim. This is the straight path. So the first one we should look at is Abdul Fawq literally just mentioned this a few minutes ago. So it's chapter 2, verse 142, which says, the fools among the people will say, what has turned them, as in the followers of Ibrahim, from the Qibla which they were used to? Say, to Allah belongs both east and west. He guides whom He will to the Siratim Mustaqim. To. So this shows that there is a distance between the participants and the straight path. They're not upon the straight path yet. And a second occurrence in chapter 2, it's a particularly powerful verse. It says, "Kana an-nas ummatan wahida." Mankind was a single ummah. فَبَعَثَ اللَّهُ الَّذِينَ مُبَشِّرِينَ وَمُنذِرِينَ. So Allah raised the prophets as bringers of glad tidings and warners. وَأَنزَلَ مَعَهُمُ الْكِتَابَ بِالْحَقِّ, and He descended with them the book with truth. لِيَحْكُمَ بَيْنَ النَّاسِ فِي مَا اخْتَلَفُوا فِيهِ, that they may judge between people in what they differed. But they did not differ except after signs were brought to them. After clarifications were brought to them. So God, by His grace, has guided the believers to the truth concerning that which they differed. For God guides whom He wills towards Sirat al-Mustaqim.
Which cookies? I
Sorry,
bought cookies?
I beg your pardon?
I'm so sorry. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. My apologies. Hey, how's everybody?
Hey, Zishan, is
Oh
that
my
you?
God.
Oh
Hey,
yeah,
family.
Zishan.
What's
Salam,
good?
salam, Zishan.
I love y'all. Okay. All right. Let me mute. Sorry.
Okay. Right. So this particular verse, I think, is rather important because it uses the term ikhtilafu fi. They differed therein. It uses that just let me be very sure. It uses it 3 times. Now, why does it use it 3 times? I believe that it is because God wants to point to this and say that Sirat al-Mustaqim will allow you to transcend this. And how do you do that? You do that with the book in truth. And you judge between people with the book in truth. So this particular verse was very powerful for me because while I knew the verse, I did not realize it ends with Sirat al-Mustaqim. So I thought that was particularly powerful. So next we come to Ali Imran, Ali Imran, verse 51, in which Isa says, "Inna Allah Rabbi wa Rabbukum fa'buduhu." Verily Allah is my Lord and your Lord, so serve Him. Hada siratum mustaqim. This is siratum mustaqim. So serving Allah necessitates that we are upon the Siratul Mustaqim. And Isa actually says this no less than 3 times in the Quran. One is chapter 3, verse 51. The other one is chapter 19, verse 36, exact same phraseology. And then we come to chapter 43, verse 64, where Isa says that, but here he says, Inna Allah huwa Rabbi wa Rabbukum. Verily, Allah, He is my Lord and your Lord. Fa'buduhu, so serve Him. Hada ṣirāṭ mustaqīm. This is ṣirāṭ mustaqīm. So I don't know why there is a word, an extra word there, but I'm very sure, given the Quran, there is a very special significance to it. But in any case, Isa says this 3 times. So what does this actually signify for us? I would say it shows that in studying the system of Isa in the Quran, we will come to an understanding of what Ṣirāṭ mustaqīm is on the level of the messengers, from the perspective of the messengers, because Isa, to me, is the archetype of the messengers. Right, now we come to chapter 5, verse 16, which says, Yahdi bihillah, God guides therewith, manittaba'a ridwanahu, those who follow His good pleasure, subul salam, His ways of peace, and He leads them out of darkness by His will into the light, and guides them towards Ṣirāṭ mustaqīm. So again, you see the contrast between subul, paths, and Ṣirāṭ, the straight path. So Allah is the one who guides you to that straight path to take you from darkness into the light. And this is in seeking His ridwan, His good pleasure. And the good pleasure of Allah is usually mentioned, and this is a side note, sorry, it always is radiyallahu anhum, Allah has good pleasure on them, wa radu anhu, and they have good pleasure with Him. So there is a two-way thing there. Now, Allah does not need that from us, right? Why is that the case? Because I believe that He cares about our own peacefulness with the path. And if you see where this phrase is used, it's usually used with a particular set of people, but that's not true. With the Quran, it's not true. It's used for everyone who follows the clarifications of Allah. Chapter 98, verse 8. It says, Jaza'uhum inda rabbihim, their reward with their Lord, Jannatu adnin tajri min tahtihal anhar, gardens under which rivers flow, radiyallahu anhum wa radu an. They are pleased with Allah and they are with Him. Dhalika liman khashiya rabbah. Those are the ones who focus on their Lord. So I think, this particular thing, following the Ṣirāṭ, it actually leads to a state of good pleasure with Allah, rida. Next, we come to the phrase ala ṣirāṭ mustaqīm. So before this, we looked at ila ṣirāṭ mustaqīm, towards the straight path. Now we see ala ṣirāṭ mustaqīm, upon the straight path. So we're looking at chapter 6, verse 39, and it says, وَالَّذِينَ كَذَّبُوا بِآيَاتِنَا, those who belie our signs, summun bukmun, they are deaf and dumb, in the midst of darkness, which whom Allah wills. He leaves to wander whom He wills, and He places on the way that is straight. Well, that's a traditional translation. So this is for those who are confirming the signs of Allah. The opposite of belying the signs is confirming the signs. And where do you find the signs of Allah? I would look at the previous ayah, which is verse 38, and it talks about the book from which nothing is left out. So I would say that is the way for us to be upon the straight path, for us to actually establish whatever has been told to us by Allah in the book. I can stop here if you guys want to have a discussion on it.
Yeah, what do you guys, if I can turn your attention to chapter 7, verse 16, I want to know what you guys think about that. Al-A'raf.
Oh, anyone? I think that's Iblis, he's talking to Allah. He has dissociated from the path. So he says, Sirataka, your path, which is establishing. So if you notice verse 153, Muhammad, chapter 6, verse 153, it says, my path, God's path. But here is the opposite, Iblis saying your path. The irony is the proximity of the verses are quite close, So
But like, what's that? He's sitting on the path waiting for us.
Yeah.
I'm gonna bring up a concept to consider. I'm not saying this is it, but is it possible that this straight path is a actually physical path? Why? Because it seems like there's a lot of words based on physical proximity, like ila and whatnot. And again, take it with a grain of salt, but a lot of mythologies of the past have this same concept. The Bifrost, the Chinvat Bridge, Floating Bridge, Rainbow Way, Rainbow Path, all of these concepts that essentially a bridge that'll take you to heaven. So just keep that in the back of your mind. Maybe something to consider. Maybe this is a physical thing. Just something to keep in mind there. Because again, sitting on the straight path is also interesting to me. 7:16.
I wonder if I could put in my 2 cents worth here.
Please.
Could it also? Yeah, sorry. Could it also be a reference to the kind of rebound effect that any kind of discipline has with it? We start in on the path towards correcting something, or the path towards straightening something that's crooked, but it isn't always something that's just going to happen in steady progress. Like alcoholics get what's called a dry drunk, where they suddenly have this raging behavior, just as though they were the way they were when they were at their worst. And a lot of addictive behaviors. People will go along and go along and go along, and then suddenly there's a rebound. And people who are trying to lose weight and go on crash diets can get a kind of rebound again, where suddenly they gain a lot of weight. I wonder if it's a reference to something like that. Is that far-fetched?
Oh, Linda, I don't understand what a dry drunk is. Would you mind repeating that?
Well,
sorry.
Well, it's hard to explain, really. I used to work with ex-street youth, and some of them were alcoholics, and they would be doing really well. They would be they would be clean and sober for quite a long time, but then suddenly they would have an incident where they would start to behave the way they did when they were at their very worst, and really had really completely drunk. They'd shout at people, and they'd be totally unreasonable. And in fact, they hadn't been drinking at all. And this is what's called a dry drunk. And it sometimes happens to alcoholics who are, in fact, on their way to correcting their behavior and getting off the alcohol addiction. But you can get this strange rebound. I haven't heard it referred to very often, but like I said, this was my background, and I sometimes heard about dry drunks from some of the clients. Does that
So
make
what
any
would
sense? Sorry.
I'm trying to sort of like connect it with this idea that Muhammad just said about Iblis or the Satan, right?
Well,
Where, yeah, sorry, yeah, go
mhm.
ahead. Yeah.
Well, if you consider Iblis is something that prevents you from um, fully developing or fully going the way that you want to go or that you need to go, and you catch on to something that helps you, and you're working on it, and you're successful, and you're going along your merry way, and everything seems to be going really well. But very often there is a rebound effect, and you need to be, and this is Iblis lying in wait for you. And you need to be aware that he is there and that he is lying in wait. And there is a possibility that this kind of rebound can show itself, and you need to be prepared to face it and to deal with it.
And the word Iblis means to lose hope, to be frustrated, to be negative. So I think
Yeah.
that really fits. Yeah, yeah.
Well, it does fit. Basically, the thing that stops you. And certainly losing hope and despairing, it can stop you, especially if the path seems to be too smooth and everything is going too well, so that you feel, well, I'm fine. I'll just I'll just ignore any possibility that anything is going to come up, but up it comes. I don't know, maybe I'm way off here, and if I am, I apologize and just forget what I said.
I don't think you're way off at all. I think this is another way of looking at the same human experience. You know, we're all trying to get to a path towards a higher level of existence, and there are forces trying to push us down, aren't there? So
Yes.
whether we call it Iblis or alcoholism, it amounts to the same thing, doesn't it? So
Yes.
yeah. Yeah.
I have personal experience with this particular aspect of the straight path. I'm a board member of Malati Islami, which is the Muslim 12-step program equivalent of Alcoholics Anonymous. All right, 12-step recovery. And yes, getting straight and being on the straight path are identically the same ideas. And the thing that a lot of people who are outside of recovery programs never understand is that drugs and alcohol aren't my problem. They were my solution until I found a better solution, which is seeking the grace of Allah. We, as addicts or alcoholics, do what we do to drown out the pain that was in our own selves, put there, of course, by the shaitan, Iblis, however you want to name it. But those pains exist in all of us. They're regrets, they're angers that we've pushed down and tried to forget about. And when they start to come up, they mentally hurt. So I take a drink or I smoke some drugs. And pretty soon the pain goes away for a little while, but only for a little while. When the drugs wear off, the pain comes back. So I need some more medicine. And until we actually bring that stuff out and see it for what it is, usually with the help of others, consulting with others, or just getting it written down so we understand what it is that's hurting us and keeping us off the straight path, that is the real cure. To know what it is that we're fighting within and bring it out and know it for what it is. Once we know it for what it is, then we can fight it with Allah's help. We can look at the stuff we used to crave, be it drugs, alcohol, or what have you. I mean, every category of human vice fits into this. It doesn't have to be a substance. It can be pictures you look at, kinds of behavior, overeating. All these behaviors are ways that we shove down the pain. We hide the pain. We get away from the pain. And addiction takes all those different forms. But we have a higher self, one that is aware of our connection to Allah. And we push down that higher self too, because that conscience hurts. But when we finally start reading the Quran and understanding that we must seek Allah, that is the straight path. And I didn't want to get on my soapbox, but I have personal experience with this particular subject. Thank you.
I love soapboxes.
Thank you, sister.
Now, what's really good is that, we're taking these concepts, which are raw, and we are applying it to our own personal experience. I mean, this is brilliant. I think this is what the Quran means, when Allah says, soon He will show them signs in the horizon and in themselves until it is clear to them that this is the truth. Chapter 41, verse 53. So, I mean, this is the point. This is how we know that the Quran is the truth, when it connects with our existence and our experience.
The thing that I find in the Quran is that Quran can be understood at different levels. I think a scientist like myself, for example, I don't like to call myself a scientist, but I'm involved, been for years, been involved in science. I have a PhD in chemistry, but see, so I can say this is a kind of scientist, So I like to rationalize things based on, on the lines of science, making hypotheses and trying to theorize or hypothesize things and trying to find evidence. Everything. To me, knowledge is evidence based. So that's the reason I brought up the difference between, I thought Iblis was a fallen angel, according to my understanding. I mentioned that, a few sessions ago. And so I try to actually understand it based on the modern knowledge of science. And to me, also, like 50,000 years or 1,000 years, God says that, my one day is equal to 50,000 years of your day. And sometimes it says 1,000 years of your day, right? Things like that. So I try to understand it, the concept of time dilation of Einstein. I think to me, it just satisfies me, right? But I think Quran can be understood by even a very ordinary person in the street, doesn't know anything about science or anything. And, it says, okay, a straight path. What is the straight path? Straight path to, everybody else. So straight path means that straight path. I mean, there's no twist in that path. And so Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, okay, don't lie, don't cheat, don't murder, don't do this, don't kill, and don't do this, and don't cheat, etc. Those are the things that are already in our nature. And so that's why Quran is called Tazkira. According to the Quran, it's been called Tazkira, Innaha Tazkira. And this is your reminder. So basically, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala actually reminds us all those things. So people who they do not have very high intellect or something, right? They can understand the Quran according to their own level, and they can get the salvation through it. And I think the Quran can be understood at different levels, and it has everything that to convince, all kinds of people, ordinary people, even scientists or something like that. This Quran has everything, basically. It cannot be challenged. And if you challenge it, it will satisfy you, right? At every level that you want to understand it. I mean, this is my 2 cents basically regarding that, the beauty of the Quran.
If you like science analogies, a lot of the meaning of the Quran is like quantum state, and it's in multiple quantum states depending on how you're looking at it. And if somebody comes to the Quran looking for evil and terrorism and why Islam is so bad, they will find exactly what they're looking for because that's how the Quran works. It's a mirror to what we have inside. And the more sure we are when we read it, the better we read it.
That's a different way of looking at it. To me, just people just listen to the scholars. And there's a one scholar basically, and everybody is following that because they call him Murshad. Murshad means that you cannot really, whatever he says, you have to obey it. Yeah? So Murid and Murshad. The job of the murid is to follow murshid, and there are so many different funny stories about it. You cannot say, there's once, one saint, Muslim saint, he said, okay, murid, you come on, say whatever I want you to say. I said, okay, say la ilaha illallah, say la ilaha illallah, right? Then he says his own name, Rasulullah, right? Chishti Rasulullah. Chishti was one of the Muslim saints or something, right? So he hesitated because he didn't want to say Chishti Rasulullah, right? So like, okay, then you're not fit for being my murid, So, so it's like, I mean, it's terrorism, ISIL. There are many organizations now, right? There's one main guy, and he is not only believing in the Quran, mostly he believes in the things that we find mentioned in Sira, and there's lots of things that even I have. When I look at them, I say, the Prophet could not have done that. It's like, okay. And so they say, okay, this is a Sira. They believe in that Sira and say, if the Prophet did this, then we can do that as well, And so I think they are mostly influenced not by the Quran, but by anything other than the Quran, which is ahadith and history or something like that. They believe in those things. I've never found anybody believing only in the Quran and doing those things. Personally, I've never seen anybody, They may differ in interpretations, but nobody will do things like that, killing people around and say,
So to move us forward, we are going now to chapter 10, verse 25, which links the abode of peace with the صراط المستقيم. So it says, Wallahu yad'u ila dar as-salam. Allah calls to the abode of peace. Wa yahdi man yasha, and he guides whomever wills towards صراط mustaqim. So here we can see a link between the goal. The goal is for us to arrive at the abode of peace. And indeed, all human beings, regardless of who we are, we seek this. So the Quran is speaking to us on a very human level. It's telling us this is the most efficient way for you to arrive at this. And that way is Sirat al-Mustaqim, right? And where do we find the articulation of Sirat al-Mustaqim? Now that is in chapter 6, verse 151 to 153. I'm actually very grateful to the late Dr. Shahrur from Syria. He wrote about this. He defined Sirat al-Mustaqim based on chapter 6, verse 151 to 153. So I mentioned 153, but you should really read it from 151, because that's where the command to say is. Yeah. So it says, "Say, Qul, come, I will recite to you what your Lord has sanctified you from. Join not anything in worship with him. Be good and dutiful to your parents. Kill not your children because of poverty. We provide sustenance for you and for them. Come near not to shameful acts and obscene acts, whether openly or secretly, and kill not anyone whom Allah has made sacred except with justice." He commands you this that you may think. Verse 152 says, "And come near not the orphan's property except to improve it until he reaches the age of full strength. But give full measure and full weight with justice. We burden not any person but that which he can bear. And whenever you give your word, be say the truth even if a near relative is concerned, and fulfill the covenant of Allah. This He commands you that you may remember. Now we come to the key verse, and it says, وَأَنَّ هَذَا, and this ṣirāṭ is my path, mustaqiman, to set you on an established state. فَاتَّبِعُوهُ, so follow it. وَلَا تَتَّبِعُوا السُّبُلَ فَتَفَرَّقُوا بِكُمْ عَنْ سَبِيلِهِ, do not follow other paths that it may separate you from this path. That He commands you that you may be mindful. So God is giving you a set of principles. I counted them. I believe there are 9 principles here, which God commands you, and He says, this is my straight path. So once again, I mean, when God says my, I believe that is a special, of special significance. It shows intimacy with your Lord. All right. Why I believe this? If you go to chapter 2, verse 186, we'll see the intimate language being used. So it says, وَإِذَا سَأَلَكَ عِبَادِي أَنِّي, and when my servants ask you concerning me, فَإِنِّي قَرِيب, so I am close. أُوجِبُ الدَّعْوَةَ دَاعِي إِذَا دَعَانِ, I answer the call of the caller when he calls. Now let's think about this for a minute. Allah does not need to say that 3 times. He could just say, I answer the caller. But no, He says, I answer the call of the caller when he calls. So you have a triple emphasis there to tell you the intimacy of this position. And this to me is the same intimacy as the ṣirāṭ al-mustaqīm. When you have fulfilled the principles which Allah tells you to fulfill, He will be that close to you. And that is what will take you, according to chapter 10, verse 25, to Dar as-Salam, the abode of peace. And again, this is again the science of existence according to the Qur'an. So I don't see the Qur'an as a religious text which teaches, religious formulas, etc. It rather teaches us principles of existence, like Walid was saying about negative habits. What negative habits offer us? These things, they cut through those negative habits and they take you to a positive pathway. So the Quran actually speaks very loudly to these experiences, I would say. And that's why it's difficult to see the Quran being emphasized in traditional Islamic discourse, because they are using another frequency, in my opinion. So the Quran does not become relevant to them. It's rather historicized. As Abdul Falk was saying, when they read a verse, they'll say, hey, how did so-and-so understand it? How did so-and-so understand it? I'm sorry, I don't know so-and-so. So how would I know how he understood it, right? So we need to engage with the text directly in order to be on the Ṣirāṭ al-Mustaqīm, and we experience Allah for Himself as well as negative forces, like the chapter 7 verse 16, as Muhammad pointed out. Iblis, he's on the straight path, and we will have that experience with him, the frustration, the loss of hope, etc. And then we will seek other solutions, but those won't be the healthiest solutions. Now we come to chapter 11, verse 56, which says, Inni tawakkaltu ala Allah. I put my trust in Allah, Rabbi wa Rabbukum, my Lord and your Lord. There is not a moving creature, but He grasps it by its forelock, showing its His control, absolute control over us. And now we come to the key point. It says, Inna Rabbi, verily my Lord, ala siratim mustaqim, is upon the straight path. So it doesn't say Allah, it says my Lord. My Lord shows that it's your connection with Allah. So it's not the divine objective reality, but it's rather reality as you experience Him He is on your path, and you will experience him in your life. And the personality who said this is Hud. He is a personality usually mentioned after Nuh or Noah, and I don't know why it's Hud being mentioned here. I don't know, but I guess it has something to do with the principles which he conveys. Although I can't quite point out the exact principle yet. Next, we come to chapter 14, verse 1, which says, it doesn't say Ṣirāṭ al-Mustaqīm, yeah, but it does say Sirat something. So it says, Alif Lam Ra, Kitabun Anzalnahu Ilayka, a book descended to you, Litukhrijan Nas, that you may take people from the darkness into the light with the permission of their Lord, towards Siratil Azizil Hamid, the path of the exalted in power, worthy of praise. Now, I think this is a very interesting turn, where when Allah uses the term Sirat, He does not say Sirat al-Rahman al-Rahim, right? I mean, you have the Basmalah, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Those are the two main names of Allah, in my understanding. But here, it's not Sirat al-Rahman al-Rahim. It's Sirat al-Aziz al-Hamid. Why is that the case? I think that's something which we need to think about. I don't know. I can't answer definitively at the moment, but I think that's something which we need to consider. So I can stop here if you guys want to have comments. Yes, Kate.
I think perhaps the reason why he is the exalted, all power, all worthy of praise, is because that's how much help we need when we are in the darkness and trying to go into the light. Like, that's how dark and serious it is for most people, I think, including the world as it is today.
Wow. Okay. Yeah.
Most people try to tell Allah how bad their problems are instead of telling their problems how great Allah is. If we can reverse that outlook,
Good one.
we'll be in a lot
That's
better
a good
shape.
one. I
That-
like that.
That's very good one, yeah.
That's a very good one.
Oh, brother, you mentioned one, I think it was chapter 11 that
Verse 56.
look, I mean, if you translate it, and everybody translates that ayah, is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala himself is on the straight path.
Mm.
Why?
Yeah, that's what I said. Yeah.
What was that
That's what I
verse?
said.
What was that verse? Can you repeat that?
Chapter 11, verse 56, it says, Inna Rabbi ala siratim mustaqim.
Ha.
Verily, my Lord is on the straight path.
So
Yeah.
that means Rabb himself is on the straight path. I mean, of
Yeah.
course, if he's not, then he cannot tell us what not to be on the straight path. So, I mean, we cannot really imagine that, that our Rabb would not be on the straight path, So even though he has chosen to be the sovereign, nobody can tell him, command him what to do, but he himself is so just. And so he wants us to be just as well. So he is on the straight path. So he's commanding us to be on the straight path as well. Of course, he can never be on the twisted path. So what I'm saying is even God is on the straight path as well. And that's why he's telling us to be on the straight path as well. This is an amazing verse. I think this is the only verse. I don't know whether there's another one or not, but in which God is saying that he is himself on the straight path.
You want to have a look at chapter 15, verse 41?
Oh,
See
I'm
if,
sorry, I do not have the phone with me. What is it?
Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
Chapter 15, Al-Hijr, verse 41, please.
okay. What is it? Sorry.
It says, Qala, he said, and this is Allah, Hada siratun alayya mustaqim. This is
Right.
my sirat upon
Okay.
me mustaqim.
So we have another verse. Okay, that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
Yeah. But the point I was trying to emphasize here is that the word Allah is not there. It's not Inna Allahu ala ṣirāṭ mustaqīm. It's Inna Rabbi, my Lord. Thus
Right.
showing your intimate connection there at that point. Because I like to differentiate, when Allah uses the word Allah and uses the word Ar-Rahman, uses the word Rabb, he's not talking about a different God. Astaghfirullah. No, he's talking about a different experience of the divine. So I think that's very it's crucial for us to deepen our metaphysical understandings with these terms. And that's also why I pointed out why is it not Ṣirāṭ ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, the path of the most gracious, most merciful, but rather Ṣirāṭ al-Aziz al-Hamid, the path of the exalted, the praiseworthy, right? So Khadija gave a very cogent opinion on why that's the case. So I thought, okay, maybe that's the reason, Anyone else care to comment?
See, Ar-Rahim, Ar-Rahman, Al-Aziz, Al-Hamid, Al-Ghani. There are so many attributes of Allah, right? So all those attributes, Allah Himself, He wants to have some of those attributes in all of human beings. In order for us to be on the right path, we have to be Rahim, not by Rahman. Rahman, I think Allah and Rahman are those
No,
two
Rahman is
special.
only for Allah, bro. Rahman
Yeah,
is
only for Allah. But others like Hamid or Aziz and things like that, we can be even Rahim, because
Allah is Arham Ar-Rahimin. So there are many Rahimin, the mercy givers in the world, but He is the most mercy giving.
yeah,
so to
Rahim, but
speak.
Rohama is used in the Quran. Rohama is the plural of Rahim. So,
Yes.
Allah is saying that, the Mu'mineen, the believers they are Rohama
Ruhama
upon,
bainahum.
for each other. Yes.
So related
So,
to this, okay, Fakia, please go ahead. You were saying something.
no, I mean, I'm finished. Yes, I just wanted to say that
Oh,
all those attributes, Allah Himself wants us to have some of those attributes.
Yeah, I think that this also is mentioned in an ayat 30, Surah Rum. Yeah, فَقِمْ وَجْهَكَ لِلدِّينِ حَنِيفًا فِطْرَةَ اللَّهِ الَّتِي فَطَرَ النَّاسِ عَلَيْهَا. So that basically Allah has made the nature of people on His fitrat also. So this is something.
No, yeah,
So
that's
all these
great.
attributes that Allah has, He has also given some aspects to the people so that they can appreciate Him and they can
Absolutely.
appreciate what is the.
Thanks for this ayah. Yes, I think I read that
That's
long
very
time
beautiful.
ago. Yeah.
Very beautiful. Yeah. I would also add chapter 2, verse 138, which uses the unique phrase Sibghatallah, usually translated as the baptism of Allah.
Color of Allah.
Chapter 2, verse 138.
Yeah, Sibgha means color, right? Color.
One of the translations is
color,
translation is baptism, to be immersed in a color, if you like. Yeah, fine. So this is Allah immersing reality in His colors.
Yeah.
So I think it strengthens your point there. Yeah. Anyone else care to comment?
So
Linda, we haven't heard from you today. You okay?
Which Linda?
Oh, sorry. Apologies.
Yeah,
I'm gonna say Linda Z and Linda B, if you don't mind. Yeah, sorry, Linda B. Yes, please.
Yeah, I'm
you were
just
saying?
listening.
Okay.
I'm here. I'm fine.
Okay. Anyone else?
So basically, the very critical and the key ayat, I would say, there are definitely, Farooq, you have given many aspects of this Sirāṭ Mustaqim. and many ayats explain it. So the key ayat, I would say, it seems to be from 1936. That is
Oh, Isa, man. Isa.
no, it's 1936. It is.
That's Isa talking, bro.
Yeah, that's Isa
It was
talking.
mentioned before.
Yeah. That's the one that if someone says that what is Ṣirāṭ al-Mustaqīm, we can and tell me in one word or one sentence, then this can be presented, right? Because it comes with the Isma Ishara, the Hada, which makes it very powerful.
This is Ṣirāṭ al-Mustaqīm. Yes.
Yeah, this is. And what is this? Inna Allah Rabbi wa Rabbukum fa'buduhu. So what you are to serve God only.
Yes.
So when you serve God, that is the Ṣirāṭ al-Mustaqīm.
153 also has it, I just 153 also has it. Chapter 6, verse 153 also has Hada. This.
Hada, yeah.
So,
and the second one, so basically it's serve God alone. And if you serve something else, then they are termed as subulus, different subuls. Then so you are not allowed to follow different subul. So you are to follow God alone, serve alone, God, and you're not allowed to serve anything else.
Exactly. And also this chapter 19 also has a very interesting type of ṣirāṭ, which is ṣirāṭan sawiyya, usually translated as the path that is even and straight.
Right.
So it's almost like equilibrium kind of thing, where you attain equilibrium. So it says, this is Ibrahim talking to his father. He says, "O my father, there has come to me knowledge which has not reached you. So follow me. I will guide you to. I will guide you off the ṣirāṭan sawiyya, a path which is equilibriate.
Right.
So sawa is to be equal in something. And then the chapter 20 also has it. The last ayah in chapter 20 also uses the same phrase. I find it very interesting that the Quran would use rather unusual versions of the same phrase in different places. And to me, I think that is indicative of what this unique aspect of this chapter is, So to me, this is why I do this. I find these really beautiful things.
Yeah. And equilibrium is a concept that you see in nature. Like this is the practice of God, how He has made everything. Like different forces apply on something, and at some point that thing achieves an equilibrium. So basically, God, if you see on a broad spectrum, God has created everything, but He wants to see where you achieve the equilibrium position. The same thing as at one extreme could be bad, and the other one will be good. You see, that's the creation. How does the creation works? Everything is in equilibrium. It achieves
beautiful.
Ummatan wasatan is probably the same thing. Equilibrium. Ummatan wasatan.
That's middle.
The middle nation or the nation in equilibrium, right? Because equilibrium is always somewhere in between the two extremes.
Yeah. Oh, that's beautiful, Abdul Falk. Yeah. So Abdul Falk is looking at chapter 2, verse 143. Yeah, for anyone who wants to have a look. Yeah. So thanks to Ijaz mentioning it, I just realized I forgot to talk about the ṣirāṭ al-Mustaqīm without the towards and upon, without the ila and ala. Now, what does that indicate? Yeah. So we see that in Fatiha itself, it says ihdinas ṣirāṭ al-Mustaqīm. It doesn't say ihdina, guide us, ila ṣirāṭ al-Mustaqīm, towards the straight path, or ihdina, guide us, ala ṣirāṭ al-Mustaqīm, or upon the straight path. It's just ihdinas ṣirāṭ al-Mustaqīm. So I've looked at various opinions on this, and I believe that what it means is God is asking us to ask Him of the guidance rather than towards or upon. that Sirat al-Mustaqim itself confers guidance on us.
Right.
And we get indications of that. And what's the indication? We get bounties from Allah. Sirat al-Ladina an'amta alayhim. There is no anger there. Ghayril maghdubi alayh. And it's not dalleen. It's not being misled somewhere. And that's another thing which I think Muhammad may connect with here. I think dalleen, to be misguided, shows that it's not something conceptual. You will see a physical indication of being misguided. So there's no use in saying, "Oh, we are the guided people, we are the best people," yet you are not self-determining. And I think that's another strong indication of this concept.
Right.
So next we come to Ibrahim, in chapter 16, verse 1 to 1. So this is the only two personalities I see who are connected very strongly with this phrase are Ibrahim and Isa. You may say Hud, but Hud doesn't say that he's on it. He says God is on it. So I thought that that may be a subtle difference, if you like. So Ibrahim, in chapter 16, verse 1 to 0, it says, Inna Ibrahima kana ummatan qanitan lillah. Verily, Ibrahim, he is an ummah, or rather, he was an ummah devoted for Allah. Now, how is a person an ummah? I think this is because Ibrahim was able to generate a nation unto himself, Hanifan, which is fully inclined to Allah, وَلَمْ يَكُوا مِنَ الْمُشْرِكِينَ. He had no shirk or no idolatry associated with him. So once you achieve this state of total effacement of shirk from yourself, then you will be an ummah unto yourself. The passage to understand that is chapter 2, verse 1 to 4 to 131, I would say. So now we come to the straight path concept. It says, Shakiran li'an umihi. He is grateful for the bounties of his Lord. Ajtabahu, Allah chose him. Wahadahu, and guided him. Ila siratim mustaqim, towards the Sirat al-Mustaqim. So the straight path will actually take you to this state. So you can see the functional aspects of the path, can't you? It's all there. It's very physical, as Muhammad said. Yeah, there's a physical indication to what's going on here. Yeah. If you guys want to comment, yeah, can do. Yeah.
Once I started compiling verses that have anzalna ilayka, that's ilayka, right? Towards you, and alayka, on you, right? So anzalna ilayka, that God has revealed on you one person, right? Just singular. And also ilaykum, which is often, I think, disregarded, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, and both, He has revealed the Quran not only, well, it was revealed to the heart of the Quran, but it was revealed to all of us. That's why many verses says, ilaykum, anzalna ilaykum, towards you, and this is plural. That means to all of us. Not just one person, to all of us. Similarly, alaykum, I have seen verses as well, both alaykum and ilaykum, anzalna alaykum, anzalna ilaykum, ilayka and alayka, both singulars and both plurals. To me, when I looked at it, I was very happy and pleased to know that the Quran was revealed to me as well, not just the Prophet himself, because the Prophet got it, then he disseminated it, and when disseminated it, it will be revealed to everybody who reads it with full sincerity. So
by
to
meaning,
me, I think
by
this
meaning,
is a very
by
common thing that's consistently being ignored by many people, that the Quran was revealed to all of us.
Right.
Yes. Actually, what Abdul Falk said is very strongly emphasized in these two verses. Yeah. So chapter 2, verse 136 and chapter 3, verse 84. If I may point out the difference very quickly. So chapter 2, verse 136 says, Qulu, command to say in plural. Yeah. Qulu, not kul, but qulu in plural. We believe in Allah and what has been descended to us. وَمَا أُنزِلَ إِلَيْنَا. Right? Then you compare it with chapter 3, verse 84, which says, Kul, singular, Amanna billah, we believe in Allah, وَمَا أُنزِلَ عَلَيْنَا, and what has been revealed on us. So to us and on us, it's there, right? We are getting revelation, and God commanded us to say this. Can you imagine? The messenger is commanding you to say, we believe in what has been revealed on us, and yet some people say, if you say that, that's blasphemy. Wow. I mean, that's very scary, isn't it? So, yeah.
You know, once verse number 51 of chapter 41, 42, chapter 42, right? It actually says there are three kinds of revelation, three kinds of wahis, three kinds. And the first two kinds are inspiration and from behind the curtain, that was number 2. And the last one is upon the messengers, right? So I think Wahi hasn't stopped. I mean, I think Wahi it's basically inspiration, some suggestion from behind the curtain, and it can happen to anybody. It doesn't have to be really. So we say that Wahi was done to the bee, and Wahi was done to the mother of Moses. So Wahi is some kind of inspiration that people get. The other day, I was listening to the video by Michio Kaku, a theoretical physicist. He's a very famous. I think people know like Michio Kaku, right? Professor Michio Kaku.
Yeah.
And he was saying that it was impossible to go to the moon in 1969 with very, very small amount of memory and the knowledge that was present in that day, in 1969. And he convinced me very thoroughly that many things, many things, they came together as in unison, as something, as a united concept, and without, with full perfection. There was absolutely no place for even a small deviation. So he said, he convinced me that everything came so perfectly together that even today it'll be very difficult for people to put all those things together and put a man on the moon again. Well, the man was put moon several times, but it says that in 1969 when man landed on the moon. So I thought about that verse. Why, my God, to me that was kind of a revelation to people, to the scientists, to think perfectly well, think perfectly, on a certain concept, like the intense radiation, Van Allen belt, and like temperature, very high temperature, extremes of cold and extremes of hot, and the the outfit of the astronauts, and he was describing the makeup of that. That was also perfect, like. So it's like, to me, I think very revelation has not stopped. It will probably continue. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guides people in different ways to different people, right? So yes, the guidance of the morality is now written in stone. It's set in stone, right? That's the Quran. However, all of us have different problems in our lives. And so if we believe in him, I think he will find us the solution for that. And that solution is through some kind of inspiration, from suggestion from behind the curtain, right? Ma virai hijab, right? Min virai hijab. So So I think it has not stopped. There is also a verse that
41:53 again, brother.
I'm sorry.
41:53.
Yeah, okay. Even says, the brother mentioned those verses, actually 3 verses. What's that? Istaqamat, right? ثم استقاموا تتنزل عليهم الملائكة ألا تخافوا ولا تحزنوا, right?
Yeah. 41:30.
Yeah, that's exactly. Allah says, those people who believe and show istaqamat, steadfastness on that path, right? Then Allah says that they should not be worried. They should not worry. And then says, Nahnu awliyahum fil hayatid dunya. Well, and then says, Nahnu means the malaika. The malaika say to that person, don't worry. We are with you. Nahnu awliyakum fil hayatid dunya wa fil akhirah. And in both worlds, this world as well as in the next world, the malaika is saying, we are with you. We support you, right? I mean, it's a very, very powerful verses and very supportive. I mean, it's like if you are feeling dejected, depression or something, think about these verses. I think.
So, folks, Abdul Fawq just mentioned chapter 41, verse 53. No, sorry, Waleed mentioned 41:53, which is a mind-blowing verse, at least for me, some years back. And Abdul Fawq mentioned chapter 41, verses 30 to 33, I would say, or 34, I would say. Yeah. Maybe I can close off with the focusing on the passage which Abdul Fawq quoted, because I believe that the ṣirāṭ in this passage is particularly powerful. Yeah, so it says it starts with 51. So chapter 42, verse 51, it says, وَمَا كَانَ لِبَشَرٍ أَن يُكَلِّمَهُ اللَّهُ. It is not for a person that Allah should speak to him إِلَّا وَحْيًا, except through inspiration, أو من وراء حجاب, or from behind a veil, أو يرسل رسولا فيوحي بإذنه, or by sending a messenger so he inspired with his permission, ما يشاء, whatever he wills. إنه علي حكيم, he is the highest, most judicious. وكذلك, and like that, أوحينا إليك, we inspired to you ruhan, a spirit, min amrina, from our command. Ma kunta tadri min al-kitab, you did not know what was al-kitab, the book, walal iman, or the faith, walakin ja'alnahu nuran, but we made it a light. Nahdi bihi man yasha, we guide with it whomever wills. Min ibadina, from our servants. Here's the bit. Wa innaka latahdi, and you are a guide towards the ṣirāṭ mustaqim. So this is the end point of the person who receives the kitab and faith, that he guides towards the ṣirāṭ mustaqim. And then what is the ṣirāṭ mustaqim called? And this is a unique phrase. Yeah. So the entire Quran, this is the only time it appears. It says ṣirāṭ Allah, the path of Allah, الذي له ما في السماوات والأرض وما في الأرض, to whom belongs whatever is in the heavens and the earth. Ala ilallah tasirul umur, towards Allah is where all affairs go. So I think this is a very powerful phrase for us to understand the concept of ṣirāṭ, or straight path. ṣirāṭ Allah, it's called. And when Allah attaches his name to something, that's the ultimate degree of it, And this is the passage which we can see. I'll probably close with that. Thank you,
brother.
much.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. No problem, Abdul Fawq. Thank you, sir.
Well, we have hit past the 90-minute mark, so I'm going to suggest that I stop recording, but we can certainly continue to discuss. Anybody object?
Oh, no, fine here, yeah.
There we go.